The year was 1893, and Chicago was a city of two souls. One soul was built of gleaming white plaster and neoclassical dreams, the world's Columbian Exposition. They called it the White City. It was a place of Edison's glowing bulbs and Tesla's humming currents. But just outside the fairgrounds, in the soot-stained alleys of the South Side, the other soul thrived. A dark, rhythmic pulse of coal dust, desperation, and disappearing people. Silas Thorne stood on the balcony of the administration building, a cigarette dying between his fingers. To the thousands of tourists below, he looked like any other wealthy industrialist in a silk waistcoat. In reality, Silas was a man who hunted secrets that history tried to bury. "He's here, isn't he?" a voice whispered behind him. Silas didn't turn. He knew the scent of lavender and expensive gunpowder anywhere. It was Clara Vance, the Pinkerton Agency's most dangerous asset. "The man they call the architect doesn't just attend fairs, Clara," Silas replied, his voice a low gravel. "He builds them. Look at the symmetry of these buildings, the way the crowds are funneled toward the court of honor. It's not just architecture, it's a circuit. He's harvested the energy of 20 million visitors, and tonight he's going to turn the lights off." The hidden truths. What the public didn't know, and what the history books would later scrub, was that the 1893 fair was the site of the greatest unsolved mass disappearance in American history. While the newspapers bragged about the Ferris wheel, over 500 young women had vanished into the murder castle of H. Holmes, a man who had turned the frantic energy of the Gilded Age into a literal factory of death. Silas moved through the crowd, his eyes tracking a man in a gray frock coat. This wasn't just a hunt for a killer, it was a race for a technology that shouldn't exist. Rumors had spread through the elite clubs in New York and London that Nikola Tesla had accidentally discovered a frequency that could thin the air, making objects or people simply cease to be. "If the architect has Tesla's notes," Clara whispered, catching up to Silas near the peristyle, "Chicago won't just be a city of fire again, it'll be a city of ghosts." The sun began to dip below the horizon, turning the white buildings into a bruised purple. Suddenly, the humming of the electric dynamos changed pitch. It wasn't the steady drone of progress anymore. It was a scream. The London connection. The story of the White City began 3 years earlier across the Atlantic during the Great Fog of London. Silas remembered the yellow pea soup mist that had choked the Thames. It was there he had first seen the symbols, the strange alchemical etchings on the skin of the victims found near the East India docks. The elite of the British Empire were funding something in the shadows of the American Midwest. They wanted to reclaim the colonies not with muskets, but with a monopoly on reality itself. They called it the Aetheric Initiative. As the first electric lights flickered the life across the fairgrounds, Silas felt a cold chill. The lights weren't white. They were a pale, sickly green. The ground beneath his boots vibrated. "Clara," Silas said, reaching for the hidden revolver in his coat, "the fair isn't a celebration, it's a sacrifice."